So I'm recording this on a Friday, and it's going to carry on from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So whenever you've decided to see this message or pick this message up, hopefully there will be a message for you that resonates, and it may not, or could resonate or may not. Okay, so it's all really up to you. But I meditated on the question, which was about how can I actually, what is going on here energetically for most people, and let's see what's happening. So I've got the Osho Zen Tarot here as my first lead card. Okay, so I've just turned it over, and I've got the politics card, which to me always signifies sort of deceiving yourself or being deceived. Okay, this is a card generally to do with the swords, but I love these cards, as I said before, that I use them because they're actually quite different from the Rider-Waite. I feel like there've been quite a lot of I won't say issues, but a lot of quandary, a lot of problems, a lot of thoughts being mulled around oneself at the moment. So there seems to be a lot of confusion, possibly getting yourself tied in a knot, which could also, of course, lead to some kind of sleepless nights. Okay, and you're feeling kind of quite anxious. I'm looking at the tail as well, where it's rattling. So there's a sense that you're feeling quite nervous about certain things. So maybe a decision needs to be made, or you're being forced to make a decision, or you're wanting to make a decision, and if things are not feeling very settled. Okay, and I think there's kind of two sides. We've got two faces here, so there could be two sides, two possibilities, two thoughts, two issues that you could be deliberating about or trying to work things out. Okay, yeah, and I think there's a true vision, that there's something that you really want, and there's something you're not sure about, and that's putting you into some kind of conflict. I think it's really important that you actually sort of get back in your body and start really trusting yourself and getting back into your heart. This is a message that I feel that's really important with any time we need to make a decision. Get back into your heart and just really sort of hold the space, get yourself sort of neutral. Because of course, when we feel emotional about a decision we need to make, we can actually also often make not so much a wrong decision, but a decision that might not be as helpful or as true. Okay, it's really important that we get neutral. So I feel like, yes, definitely, whatever happens, do get back into your heart and see if you can actually get some calm and some, equilibrium back into yourself. And really important that you don't get sort of sidetracked or deceived by another person's story or their decision making as well. I find that often this card comes up for me as well in the past, where there's somebody around you that you want to be careful of. Somebody who can also stab you in the back. So this might actually correlate to some people. You want to be very mindful, okay? And also really that you don't stab yourself in the back, actually, and then you don't also deceive yourself. So this is really, really important. Okay, I'm going to go down to the next column today, and I'm using the Surrender Power cards by Judith Orloff. Okay, and oh, here we are. Okay, we've got the surrender outdated beliefs in yourself. So I think that ties in quite nicely with this. Okay, so because basically if you're living out of not trusting yourself or believing in yourself or believing in your competency or believing in your own power and your choices and listening to other people, that also is coming and stemming from some outdated belief that you have about yourself, but not being enough, not having your own power or whatever it is. So it's really important that you actually check in with yourself. As you see with this tree as well, it's really important to not only go out in nature, but when you're in a quandary with anything, do go out in nature and get rooted. If you can't go out in nature because the weather's not so great, then just get rooted. You can get rooted anywhere you are. All you do is you take a deep breath in and then just drop down into your body, really down into your core of your, your torso, your carriage. Get down to the root chakra, which is at the base of your spine, between the groins. You really get, and imagine there a pulse, a red chakra system. Have your feet actually hip width apart or flat on the ground, so your feet are not, or legs are not crossed, and imagine roots growing from that center core point of the root chakra as well, going all the way down between your through both your legs, so there's a gap, and then see roots growing down through your feet. This really helps to actually ground yourself, get out of the head and come down into neutral ground. Okay, it's always good to take some time off or out as well. I feel like there's a lot of chaos for a lot of people, a lot of decisions to be made, and really kind of getting things, unable to see the way forward. Okay, obviously things will pass, things will naturally move forward, but it's never comfortable to be in a situation where you're actually wanting to make some kind of decision. But very important that you don't override your inner knowing. And like I said, the only way to really get to that is to get rooted and get into your heart as well. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, well, that's interesting. Here's another card I opened, I had laid out. So I've got one Osho card at the moment and this two of these. So it's like a triangular card formation I've got here. Okay, so surrender frustration. Frustration clearly is, I think, what is a really good description of the quandary people can be on. They could also be because things are not moving forward. We do have Mars retrograde, okay, astrologically, and that's going to keep on going on to the 13th of November. So that's also very indicative of frustrations and delays as well. And some of you will be feeling this impact a lot more than others, depending on where the Mars actually falls in your own natal chart. So frustration is key. So there could be delays in making decisions. There's delays because, people have free will and they're making other plans, or they've not got back to you, or they've held back, whatever it is. Okay, so frustration is a major, major energy at the moment. Okay, I'll read what it says here. Frustration doesn't open any doors. The key to resolving a dilemma or dissolving a block is to take a breath, center yourself, regroup, so you may approach the situation more calmly. Okay, so that's pretty much what I said on the back of this card. So, okay, so that is really important. So I think whatever you might be experiencing in the next few days or today or just recently, this is a really good reminder as to really do that, to go outside, because it doesn't. Frustration only leads to anger as well, okay? And we can lash out and speak out of turn. And again, with Mars going retrograde, for some of you, this can also be much, much more affected, depending on, where your Mars is, like I already said. But be mindful, so take a deep breath for sure if you're feeling that you're being agitated or triggered by somebody else's reaction or response to you, or the flippant remark, or even the lack of things moving forward. Okay, so very much the energy of frustration. Okay, at the bottom of the deck here I forgot what this deck was called, the Osho Zen, sorry. We've got fighting. So I do feel that it's interesting that, I'll take the card by itself. This is kind of like an internal fight, okay? The danger is you can close yourself off and get all very kind of armored about things, or get very possessive, or get held back. So again, be mindful that there's that potentiality for being mentally, I feel actually, that you could be fighting or really tossing things in your head. So do get into a calm practice, go out, even if it's with windy. I know it rains, it's been raining here in the UK, but today, I sound like the weatherwoman, but the weather is better today. So, let the wind blow off all the mental stress. Okay, this is another good thing. When you go outside, you can really intentionalize, you can use the elements to actually help to also release any kind of energy that you might be carrying. All right, each day is a new day, and each day brings its own challenges and also its grace and its beauty. But there could be a phase sometimes when we're actually all struggling. And like I said, I have been saying this, that the energy is really intense at the moment. It just is what it is. There's a lot of uncertainty, and within that uncertainty, a lot of frustration can be had. It can create doubts in your ability, or yourself. Okay, so it's really important that you own your power and you start leading your life from your truth. And speaking of power, I've got a deck called here, Empowering Questions. And I thought for the weekend we might be able to sort of ponder, or you might want to write in a journal, if some of you are into journal writing, okay, or even just think about these possible provocative questions. Sorry about that, that's outside. Okay, I've got two cards that fell through. All right. So it says here, what is my biggest dream and what can I do today to move closer to that dream? Okay, so if some of you have got some plans about moving forward, which has been the theme as well on my card readings, moving forward, maybe changing jobs, you want to really start thinking about, or maybe leaving a job to start your own business, or moving to another country, or, what steps can you take? Whatever it is, whatever your dream is, it could be starting a new YouTube channel, or, writing a book, or just whatever, it could be actually, wanting to becoming a mother or a parent, whatever your dream is. Okay, it's all very individual. So perhaps you want to ponder and maybe journal, what is my biggest dream, currently, maybe even as well, and what can I do today to move closer to that dream? So perhaps you want to spend a few moments over the weekend journaling or pondering while you're going out for a walk what that could be, and taking action towards it. Okay, Now, this is quite interesting as well. The other card that fell at the same time and simultaneously is what kind of advice on life would my old self give to my current self? Which I think ties in quite beautifully with this, because obviously your new self would be talking to the old self. So it would be to do with some outdated beliefs, which could be there, okay? The other thing is sometimes it can also, the current self could be the wise self, which means when it's speaking to the old self, there's much more words of wisdom. And sometimes it may be things that we don't actually do, but the wise guide within us, the sort of the wise crone or the elder could be actually speaking to our inner self or the old self. Okay, so you might actually want to sort of say that, okay, don't worry, you've got all that you need, you know, you've got the courage, whatever it is that you need to speak to yourself, okay, which is actually really brilliant in shifting any of the old beliefs. Okay, sometimes when you have an internal conversation, it's one of the methods that we use to be able to heal, or in coaching as well. You know, you can take people to a certain age time span when something has happened, and you actually get them to speak to that self that's fearful or that's stuck or wherever it is. So just trust that whatever conversation's you're having, that is the conversation that needs to happen. Okay, this is the kind of work also that I bring into the inner child work, where you talk to your inner child and you try and dismantle possibly what could be there for you, particularly when you're being triggered or you're acting out or when you're feeling fearful or you're afraid to take any action or own your truth. So it seems that this weekend is very much a space for really looking at and not double crossing yourself and not getting into a mental fight or a battle in your own being. All right, so anything I want to say about that? Yeah, here we've got the card of past lives as well. So definitely some old story being played out, okay? Make sure that, you know, the message has been move away from people that really no longer serve you, and definitely move away maybe from some past thoughts of yourself that you might have, or some dialogue that you're doing, okay? Yeah, because that would really hold you back. It's really time now to start putting your dreams out to the world, because this is the other card that was underneath that. Okay, I'm kind of open up a few more cards, but the danger is you can end up really kind of getting squashed in fear and holding yourself back from moving forward. Very, very important. Instead, take some time out and really start thinking about what is my biggest dream. I mean, this guy's sort of there already, you know, he's sort of taking time out and sort of with a cocktail in his hand. Okay, but you know, by actually taking time out and creating space, you can actually start thinking about what it is that you want and how you want to go about your life. So this is the message I'm going to leave for the weekend. That is a general weekend. So, you know, release frustration. If it's there for you, definitely just let it go. And I'm just going to call on a single angel to see that if there's anything that I can impart. Okay, so this is an angel of willingness. Okay, and she's washing up here. So again, there might be a few odd jobs that you could be doing this weekend, or even just get on with the actual activity of writing. This is a willingness to actually do what's required to do, I find. So this is an angel of willingness. If you're feeling a bit, you know, that allow yourself, you know, or be willing to actually get on this. I say this because my eyes always goes to the image of her washing up and getting everything in order. So this could be as well to actually do what you can to get things in order. So while there is frustration possibly, or things are not moving forward, have the willingness to actually approach and do things that you can, which is also what this says as well, in some way, that do what you can to make your dreams come true. Okay, sometimes we just have to get to the nitty-gritty, the very ordinary things in life to actually be able to move. So you might need to still do some clearing out, some closet clearing, or some shed clearing, or, you know, maybe moving some furniture around, or being really integral to what actually has no place in your life, and getting things in order. So that's it for me this week. I'll see you back on Monday for the next daily. And I might start spreading these dailies out as well into sort of a 2-day rhythm rather than a daily, but we'll see. Again, if you are looking at this and you're reading, listening to this, do leave your comments so I can actually supply the videos according to maybe what fits. Okay, my only concern was I felt that some of them are really crossing over, and not necessarily that everyone was actually looking at them either. So, but like I say, I really enjoy doing these, and I really, really, really hope that they actually speak to you and you benefit from them. And that's the whole point of why I do them. So have a wonderful weekend. I will catch you next week. Bye for now. Bye. Now, you'd think I'd kind of realize, because I do this quite frequently, as I'm about to pack the cards up or take the photographs of the cards, I turn over the deck, okay, and I see a very classic message that really fits in with the reading. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a bit more here. At the bottom of the surrender cards, I can't help but want to share that actually this is really important, because of course when we come to a place of frustration or things not working in our favor, what seems that things are not working in our favor, because as human beings we like to control everything, or or we might have ideas about how things are beginning to sort of show up, and then we're starting to sort of be in the driver's seat, and then we might come to a standstill or a sort of a gridlock of some kind, or just basically things are not sort of panning out as you'd hoped, or it could be a delay. So divine timing is everything. And this is when you actually really surrender what's not, maybe seems like not working in your favor. And you've got to have utter faith and just hand it over to the divine. Okay. This, in fact, is really the key way of sort of living a life that's much more liberated, and where you feel actually less encumbered by some kind of burdens of life. Okay. Sometimes things are out of our hands. In fact, a lot of things are out of our hands sometimes, okay? But anyway, it says here, sometimes divine timing may differ from your ego's timing. If a goal isn't manifesting fast enough according to your ego, be patient and trust in the universal flow. I love this. I really totally love this. So I think this is so brilliant, all right, especially about really letting go of the frustration, okay? There are certain things you can do, there are certain things you can't do, things you can't move forward. Just trust in the divine timing. Okay, another card that was behind the, at the bottom of the deck, which is behind the conflict card, the fighting card. I think also this is very much about divine timing. If you notice, there's a halo or a moon that's coming through. This is a card of the master. This is somebody who knows that the master within is the master from the divine. Okay, this is another almost a double whammy of the same message. Okay, to be a master of yourself as well, you actually allow the divine truth to enter yourself, and you get quiet, and you actually allow and trust that you're being led. Okay, and you do the leading instead of doing this, which is sort of the battle that people tend to go into. Whatever happens, you know, your ideas are not being postponed. Okay, sometimes we need to take retreat. Sometimes things are slightly delayed because of a purpose, but keep your vision alive. Look in the direction you want to go. Look in the direction you want to change, and trust that you will be letting go of the past. Okay, you know, change your scenery, do something different if you're not actually moving forward. You know, go and take yourself out for a nice coffee, or for a walk somewhere beautiful, or read a good book, or, you know, have an afternoon off and watch a bit of Netflix or whatever your thing is. Okay, and really just trust sometimes that when we can't move forward, there's a reason for that. So like I said, have a good weekend. I'm going to end it here, and I truly hope that there is something there in addition to help you through the weekend in the days coming. All right, lots of love, and thanks for listening. Bye.